Oh my. Anyways, let's go through a little practice together here. I just hit your mute button. Okay. So here we are, finding ourselves at the last practice of March. It's hard to believe, once again, another month has flown by, you know, as they say. What is the saying? Days feel long, weeks and months, or something like that, and the years fly by. I don't know. Definitely feels like, you know, we're rolling through months faster and faster, and maybe it's just my age. But anyways, and as we kind of come to the end of this month, we're also on the cusp of a new moon tomorrow, a full moon, and full moon energy. And full moon energy is very much about release. You know, what can we let go of? What can we release? What have we been holding on to that's weighing us down? And, you know, that's a little hint and segue into our practices for the month of April, which is very much about helping ourselves emerge, helping to lighten the load, to shed the layers that we've had to wear over the winter months. But, you know, sometimes we continue to wear layers that don't serve us. So this class is an opportunity for us to once again connect to helping to support, in particular, across the inner thighs, groin, and the pelvis. And at the same time, hold space and invoke this opportunity for release in the other stuff. You know, what are we ready to release? What are we ready to let go of? Okay, so that might be an undercurrent of thread for you to support your practice this evening. So a bolster may come in handy, or your makeshift one, as far as a rolled up towel, blanket, a couple pillows, even a couple of blocks, just to support your body and your practice. We are going to start here seated. So if you want to prop yourself, by all means, give yourself the little support to invite a comfortable position and place to land as the hands arrive to the legs, to the lap. Give yourself a little bit of movement, letting the head roll, the shoulders move, and your body come to find a relatively comfortable place to land as we start this yin practice together. Allow a nice full deep breath to happen. Perhaps an open mouth exhale. Again, a nice smooth and simple breath in. And an easy breath out. And then allow yourself to get quiet for a few moments. Let your body breathe. Let your body land comfortably. And allow your intention to be one of just a kind of quietude. Notice if you want to fidget, see if you can quiet any excess movements. Notice if the mind is full of chatter. And see if you can just gently invite it to slow down. And then let's take a moment or two to simply reflect upon this last month and all the things that we've accomplished. How many practices you've landed on your mat. How many things you've checked off your to-do list. How many ways you've supported yourself on your health and well-being journey, which ultimately is the fuel for the way that you move and care for others in your life. Let's take the next minute or so to just simply pause and reflect. Acknowledge how far you've come this month. yourself a nice full deep breath. And let your breath fall out. And in fact, let's do that again. A nice full deep breath in through the nostrils. And a nice simple exhale through the mouth. Feeling that release and letting go. As we land here on the cusp of a full moon and a new month, this invites an opportunity for us to release and to let go. Maybe in your moment of reflection, the mind was busy circling around all the things you didn't get done, or all of the things that you intended to do, but life just got in the way. Give yourself permission now to invite release. Let it go. And in fact, let this opportunity for release be the kind of undercurrent for your practice today. Maybe even a small mantra finds its way onto your mat, into your thinking mind, and into your heart. Something simple like, with every breath, I invite release. As one month comes to the end and another awaits on the other side of the threshold, give yourself permission to let go so that you might step into the next month under the light of the full moon with a little more freedom, a little more lightness as you emerge from under the weight of whatever's been on your shoulders, whatever you've been carrying, and gives you freedom to breathe, to stretch, and to lean into trust. This is a huge piece of our practice. To lean into trust that no matter if the to-do lists have been fulfilled or not, that we are exactly where we need to be, right here, right now. Go ahead and allow the hands now to come gently to Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. And if you'd like to join me in the sound of Om, please do. Inhale. Om. A soft bow of the head to the hands. And we release the hands to the legs, to the lap. Let the chin rise. And the eyes gently flutter open as you come back to the space between us. And go ahead and shift yourself here off your seat, off your prop, making your way into tabletop position for just a little bit of spinal movement, some cat and cow from our hands and knees. On your inhaling breath, let the belly fall down, the collarbones broaden, the face lifts, and then exhale, round it out, pressing the floor away. Again, inhale, belly comes down, collarbones broaden, face lifts, exhale, round it out. One more time, belly down, collarbones broad. Awakening and moving from pelvis through to crown. Exhale, round, press the floor away. And then let's move in a little circle over towards the right, maybe on the inhale as the belly comes down. And then exhale around to the left as we arch up into cat. Do that again, same direction. Inhale, belly down and around to that right side or left maybe. And exhale up and around on the other. One more time in this little bit of movement to massage and let energy start to flow. As you exhale, then round and come up to cat. Now let's move in the opposite direction, inhaling down and around. And then exhale around and up. Again, inhale around and down. Exhale up and around. One more time, over to the side and belly down, face maybe brightens. Exhale around and up. As you come to cat, stay here. Take a nice full breath, stretching that back body. As you exhale, tone through the navel just a smidge more. And then inhale, find your way to neutral, not arching, not rounding. And let's move right into our first posture, which is our swan pose, where the right leg comes forward, or what we call pigeon pose in our more yang style practices. So as the right leg slides forward, that left knee might slide back. We've got perhaps a little bit of support, right? Maybe a second little foam, folded blanket or towel nestled underneath that right side hip. Bolster, props, rolled up blanket in front of you. And let's just take a moment to invite a bit of space in this lifted variation. Now, if coming into swan or pigeon pose is not conducive for your front knee, then come onto your back and work with a reclined variation. Okay, now give yourself permission to just yawn open across the left side of that hip flexor. Right? All this connective tissue that holds the trunk and the legs together are all supports for our core and pelvic floor. And as much as we're working to strengthen, we also have to practice giving it space, giving it opportunity for release. And this is what we're after today. So letting the chest stay elevated, the hands maybe on the floor, or if you want to lift a little higher and come on up to your prop, by all means do. Ensure that wherever it is you've landed is something that feels gentle, right? There's an edge to our yin practice, but the edge kind of meets us instead of us meeting the edge. And that meeting happens in the space of time. So as we stay upright for just a few more breaths, listen to your body and to the edges of sensation so that they feel of benefit versus, something you have to cross. We'll get over the edge eventually. But this practice and this yin-like quality is just introducing ourselves to where that edge exists. Stay for a couple more breaths here. Softening the jaw at any moment to help invoke that release. Again, inhale. And exhale. Last one here, nice full deep breath. And the breath out. Well, now, of course, you're welcome to stay here elevated, or if it serves you, we start to move into the forward fold, landing on our prop, however that seems right for you. Easing yourself down, propping your chin, turning the head if that feels nice. So long as we're not overloading that front knee or, creating too much for that right side hip to move through, then we're coming to that, knowing the edge versus blasting our way through it. And the edge is kind of an interesting concept in yin. When you first moved into a pose, you might reach for sensation. But truly what we're after in our yin practice is to almost land a step or two back from sensation and then let the element of time help us settle into the pose as, the larger muscles and various connective tissue just release. We target different aspects of our body in a yin style practice. And that takes time. So allow yourself to settle without forcing to meet any edge. And then simply just land. Breathe with ease. And breathe through release. Every breath, a kind of unique threshold in its own right. Sometimes we feel heightened sensation on the inhale and a deeper release on the exhale. And sometimes the opposite is true. We really won't know what is happening for us unless we get quiet enough, quiet in the mind, quiet in the movements, and just simply drop in. So let's land here for about 2 more minutes. Just simply dropping in and over that front leg and hip. Allowing the breath to flow easily. And watching for sensations so that they don't get too much, too deep, too fast. Let's give ourselves about another 4 or 5 breaths here. Just that simple, smooth, even breath, helping the body settle and ground, shifting and settling as it feels right for you. Take one more nice full breath here. And a full, complete exhale. And take your time and slowly let yourself now rise, easing up onto those hands, shifting your pillow props away from the front of you. And if you have a prop underneath your right side seat, go ahead and shift it out of the way. Then gently ease onto that right side seat, shifting around to face now maybe the long edge of your mat, helping the legs as we land for a little straddle posture and sequence. So you might find you want to stay seated on this little prop, or you may find, because we're going to work with the left side hamstring here, or right side hamstring, I should say, that the knee needs a little support. So I'm going to use that to prop behind the knee. Stay centered between the knees, pelvis neutral. And then we're going to start to ease our way over to leaning on that straight leg side. Your blocks, bolster, pillow might be a handy support here as you just gently start to lean. Leaning over that leg, inviting some space along the inner thigh and groin, but at the same time, just welcoming in a bit of space along that lower waistband, from that navel region down to the hip. Do what you can to keep the chest turned towards the front, to this long edge of your mat, versus turning the torso and chest down over the straight leg side. Now, at any point, of course, you can adjust the height. You can stay a little higher, hand resting on leg or elevated lifting, or settle yourself lower and lower as you sink by way of your breath, easing open now this left side of your body. Let the breath be free, noting any points where you might find the breath shortened or feeling cut off. Of course, if that's the case, then you need to ease yourself out of the pose and then gently adjust and move once again into the posture so that it feels more beneficial. If you'd like to add a little bit for the upper body, chest, shoulders, then maybe that top arm starts to move its way over your head. Now, by no means does that top arm have to come high. It can certainly stay on the floor, maybe move around behind you, helping you to stay open through the chest. Or, of course, it can ease its way over your head, helping to further that bit of space through that lower quadrant of your waist and into your left hip. Let your breath still flow freely, letting the jaw remain soft as each breath unfolds. So we'll stay here for about 1 more minute. Leaning gently while opening that other side of the body. Encourage 1 more nice full breath here. And let that breath fall out. Take your time. Let the top arm come down if it was over your head. And then let your exhalation ease your body all the way back up to sitting. Now, as you come to sitting, let's keep the legs as they are in this position, maybe releasing the prop out from behind that extended leg. As we come now into this modified straddle pose. So your prop can be in front. And the motion here is to ease yourself forward over the space between the thighs. Now, if you don't have a bolster that I've kind of positioned here, stacking a couple of blocks, maybe placing your elbows on the floor and your hands supporting the chin, maybe even the eyebrows. Or maybe you want to just let yourself melt all the way down. Let's be mindful that we're not forcing the legs to open. And then sometimes that translates into an elevated seat. Okay, so we want to make sure that in this case, the straight-legged side stays grounded. Okay, so it's easy for it to lift up, for the thigh to turn in and the foot to turn in. Our work is to keep the knees and the toes facing the ceiling, but yet a relaxed placement. We just have to watch that the thigh and the hip bone isn't rolling. And then we land. We breathe. We soften. And with every breath, we practice release. And again, that element of time is a real key partner in this idea. So watch as you move into the posture if all of a sudden there's a bit of gripping and holding on happening. As we move through this last practice of the month, we're letting it go. We're letting our practices go. We're letting the lessons go. We're letting the old versions of ourselves go. Again, lingering here for about 1 more minute. About 6 or 7 breaths, maybe. Not racing to get through the count of breaths, but just simply letting them happen. Maybe even encouraging each additional breath to be that much longer, that much more spacious, that much more understood as a lesson of letting go. Take 1 more breath here. And that full breath out. And slowly again, let yourself rise. Ease yourself on up. Shift your blocks, your pillows, your props off to the side and out of the way. And then let's ease ourselves back through to that tabletop position. As we come back to tabletop position, maybe the right leg needs an opportunity to simply straight out back behind you. Or if you like, maybe even a downward facing dog comes into play. As you cycle and move, maybe between both legs, release the head and the neck, and just simply lift off the seat and stretch the spine. Stay here for 2 full breaths. One more nice full breath in. And a full breath out. Shift your way back onto those hands and knees if you were in your downward dog. And then let's move into our swan pose on the other side. So left knee shin is going to come forward. And then we invite the supports and props to come into play, noticing any variations and differences that have to be welcomed, right? You have to accept as we work now with this second side. Maybe there's a higher support underneath this left hip. Maybe instead of lifting up and back completely, we have to stay on the hands. Or maybe this side gives us the space to lift a little bit more. Starting out with this upward facing swan, this elevated swan pose. We allow now that right side hip flexor ample time and space for release. Soften the shoulders. Follow the guidance of that emptying breath. Let's stay here for about 3 more breaths in this elevated, lifted shape. Letting the exhale teach us the ways of letting go. Stay for 1 more breath here. And your breath out. And then slowly allow yourself now to start coming forward, moving down over that front shin, supporting yourself with the props. Or of course, if need be, give yourself permission to come onto your back. There's no sense in forcing the body into shapes that just don't serve us, whether they cause friction and tension in the body or in the mind. The practice is allowing that to be gone, to let it go. We have to watch where the ego tries to force or coerce us into various shapes and forms and positions. Of course, that extends far beyond the yoga mat. But we want our mat practice to help us understand those edges so that in the movement of life, when we find ourselves approaching an edge of discomfort, we're not just thrown off it, waiting for that lifesaver to be thrown our way, where we instead have the capacity to know when we've reached the threshold, and then willingly we step over. So let yourself settle. Let every exhale invite a landing. And then just simply watch. Watch as time offers you a whole new host of experience while the doing stays steady. So we're about halfway there in this swan pose. So taking about 2 more minutes here in this forward fold, letting yourself settle, adjusting props as need be, sinking deeper if that feels right, or just simply staying as you are. yourself 3 more breaths here. Each one offering a deeper and deeper release. One more nice full deep breath in. And a full easy breath out. And again, take your time to slowly rise and emerge from your posture. If again you have that prop under that left side seat, shift it out of the way. And then gently let yourself ease over onto the hip, moving and rotating to face the long edge of your mat. So that, I guess your left is still bent in. And we find our way into this kind of side straddle posture. Support or no support behind the knee, prop ready and accessible, keeping the pelvis neutral, facing the front, and grounded. Allow yourself to start to lean towards the straight leg side, maybe using the hand to support you, offering to keep the chest, the navel, maybe even the gaze slightly turned up and open to the front. A different opportunity than the forward fold over the straight leg, which targets more along the back, whereas here we're really just inviting that bit of space on the side of the pelvis, the side of the hip, and into that connective tissue between your bottom ribs and your hip bone. Again, feel free to prop, use your bolster, use your pillows, blankets, whatever you might have. Support your head, make sure the head feels comfortable. If hanging feels okay on the neck, then by all means, go ahead and let the head hang. And then give yourself permission to just notice first before adding any additional layers with that top arm. Sometimes it takes a couple of breaths, right? That element of time. 3 or 4 breaths is about 20 seconds, let's say. 20 seconds to land in a pose and just simply check and see, how does it feel? Imagine if we could do that, and instead of, say, roll an ankle or tweak our back, if we could just slow down our movements so that we know before we've reached the edge instead of after we've crossed it. Now again, that top arm, maybe it just stays resting on the leg, on the lap, around behind, or that addition for the kind of upper portion of the chest and shoulders. That old shoulder injury is not taking that tonight. And this is what you might find in your own body in practice. Sometimes what we do on one side looks different. There's different injuries, there's different history. Granted, we're all dominant in one side compared to the other, and therefore each posture is going to reflect different sensations and different outcomes because of those dominancies, those tendencies for how we move through life. So give yourself permission to let go of making both sides even, to getting as deeply into one side as you did the other. And instead, just meet yourself where you are. And land with the breath. And enjoy the practice. Stay for about 4 more breaths here. Watching how the movement between the inhale and the exhale feels different in the body, and where the opportunity for release exists. Last breath in here. And that full breath out. And take your time releasing that top arm. And then slowly allowing yourself to rise and come on up. Shifting your props as need be so that we can now move into this half straddle in the forward fold variation. Again, keep your hips grounded, torso forward, and then right away, as you're ready, let yourself melt and come forward onto elbows, hands on the floor, prop and support the chin or the forehead. Let a full deep breath come into the body. And let your exhale settle you down into the pose. And then watch every repeating breath and the myriad of sensations in this experience that unfold within them. There's no rush or race to be anywhere but here. And in fact, here is where that magic of release is happening. So drop in, land, and invite all that space to be known. And as we shed, as we let go of what is no longer needed in the body, so that it might feel free to move and support us in every step we take hereafter. Again, just a few more breaths here. One more nice full breath. Let it go. And then slowly again, let yourself start to rise and emerge from the posture. This time shifting your props back towards the back end of the mat, helping to support the knees, the legs as they stretch forward on your mat. The hands can stay back behind you here as you gently windshield wiper and move the legs, shifting gently back and forth, side to side. And then should you wish to come into full relaxation pose for your final posture, by all means do. Or if you'd like to join me in supported butterfly, a little fish butterfly variation. So backing that pillow, makeshift bolster up to behind your hips, soles of the feet together, knees gently opened. We allow ourselves to lay down If this feels like too much, then certainly you can start with just simply the knees bent, the spine gently laid over the prop behind you. If it feels like too much for the back, the neck, then just eliminate that and let yourself land. And of course, if you're here in butterfly and it's intense on the legs, then maybe additional support on the outer portions of the legs has to come into play. Or you can just let the legs go long or keep the knees bent, feet on the floor as you land for rest. Take a full deep breath here. And a full breath out. And give yourself fully over to this idea of release. We don't even have to know what it is we're letting go of. Just allow yourself to be in a state of release, an intention of letting go, of surrender, of lightening, of offloading, whatever it is, whatever word helps you to land in this practice of surrender. If it feels comfortable for you to remain here for a little bit longer, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, perhaps let those legs now shift long on the mat, keeping your spine and back body supported by your pillow if that's there in place. Just letting those knees and legs extend and the inner thighs to come parallel. Noting the sensation of release even in that final relaxation posture. And here, take your time to move maybe the fingers and the toes. Letting the chin maybe roll from side to the side gently again if you're on your props. Maybe the arms stretch and reach over your head. And then maybe the knees once again bend. This time the soles of the feet land on the floor. Gently make your way off your props and over onto your preferred side, letting yourself land there in a neutral, just kind of gentle posture for a moment. A simple and full breath in. And an easy breath out. Take your time and slowly again let yourself rise, moving from your side back up to that seated posture where we began our practice together. Give yourself a moment to land, to arrive, to bring the hands together in Anjali Mudra. Acknowledge you taking the time to show up for yourself today, to move, to breathe, and to awaken a whole new level of conscious awareness, while at the same time letting yourself reflect on all you've come through and letting whatever it is you've carried on your journey thus far that you no longer need to stay in the past behind you. Om Shanti, 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 Om peace, peace, peace. Namaste.